Hello, my name is Kuya Paul, and welcome to Embrace Staying. Basically, what it is it's basically a radio talk show where you guys can come in, young or old, basically teenagers, young adults, definitely up and coming artists, or people who just want to get into art or basically their own creativity, just to come in, ask questions. I'll do my best with the experience that I've had so far to provide answers for you guys. A lot of my answers, of course, if not all of my answers, are very, very faith-centric, as I am a 100% Jesus-loving, God-loving Christian. And I wanted to share, actually, and I've been sharing for the past several years, maybe even decades. Wow, it could be decades. Oh my gosh, decades. Different answers, especially to teens and young adults, about their lives, about what's going on within their lives as well, being able to help them. I've also been able to talk to many an artist, actually, coming into the industry, people going into creative arts, music arts, people going into the worship ministry at church, or people who just want to delve into their own creativity, and been able to give them advice, give them answers that they were looking for as well. Of course, all Bible-based, all based on the Word of God. Being able to do the best that I can with the experience that I have, and with the spin that I usually have in terms of talking to them, to help them understand in the best way possible. So thanks for coming in. And I wanted to start actually with this. I was going to pick a question. So I actually looked online. I'm going to be putting the link somewhere. I have no idea where I'm going to put the link. But I did find these top 15 questions. And I just thought they were interesting because, I mean, I get these questions too. But it says top 15 questions that Christian teens usually ask. So I thought it was interesting. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and just start with this. So before I actually answer some of the questions, and I know I'm not going to get to all of them because a lot of 15 questions, I can go on for days, but I'll probably answer maybe one or two questions tonight. But one of the questions, well, let's just go through all of them. Number one says, how do I know what God's will is? How do I know if I'm called to ministry? It's a really good question, actually. I get that a lot. I've gotten that for myself a lot, and I had to answer that question. So we may come back to that, so stay tuned. We probably will get through a lot of these questions, actually, as time goes by. I really do want to keep this list, but let's go to question number two. Question number two, what's wrong with rock country, I don't even know CCM. It's Christian contemporary music. I find that interesting, that it's phrased, what's wrong with it? I'm like, well, what? Nothing's wrong with it. How can you tell what music is good and what is bad? That's an interesting question, one that I will probably, if not, no, you know what, I'm going to go back to that question. That's a good question. But let's continue. I want to get through all 15, because I just think just going through these questions may pop into your head, and may want to double think some of the questions that you've been asking. Maybe your own youth leaders, teen leaders at your church, maybe your own pastors, maybe your own spiritual leaders within your life, your because I'm Filipino, I call them ates queers, or big brothers and big sisters. So that's actually a really good question. Once again, what's wrong with country, rock, CCM, jazz music? I've gotten a lot, actually, from new genres such as hip-hop, kind of the emo, screamo musics. And a lot of people have actually been asking that, so we're definitely going to go back to that. Number three, what do you do if you have a parent/sibling who is or who are living the wrong way? One way in church, another way at home, dad on the internet. I thought that was my dad's always on the internet. He's usually just checking his retirement though, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Although he usually, if you know anything about business usually ends at end of day, and he's usually checking at like 8 o'clock. I just find it interesting that he's always checking to see if the stocks change, even though they're not going to change after 8 o'clock at night. Unless he has like maybe international stocks, or maybe, you know, like the Nikkei. I'm getting too much into it. I used to be an econ major. So anyway, we'll definitely come back to that at one point, but definitely it's a question that gets asked. What do you do if you know someone's living the wrong way? Whether it's as close to you as your siblings or your parents, or maybe if it's just someone like maybe one of your friends or your acquaintances. Like, how do you deal with that? It's a very good question. We'll definitely come back to that. So, wanted to get these questions out. Wanted to make sure that you guys had kind of a palette of what we do over here in Embrace Sustains. And these are teen questions. I'm definitely going to be looking for some areas where we can talk about questions on artists, people going into art or the ministry, or maybe even delving into both. We're definitely going to get a good look at that. Before I continue, we're going to go to question 4, but just to let you guys know, at the bottom you have all the links if you have any questions even right now. If you want to add questions to the list that I'm actually reading, if you have questions of your own about life, about ministry, about let's just throw it out there, about love, relationships. If you have questions about arts, about ministry, about creativity, going into your own genre of arts, feel free to ask questions about myself too. As you have already known from the beginning, I do have some ministry experience. I do talk about that as well too. Do love art, do love poetry, love photography is one of my art forms as well too. And there's definitely a bunch of stuff that's, if you want to get to know me a little bit more, definitely ask the question. Next question. What's wrong with holding hands, kissing, etc. before marriage? Man, that's a whole series, man. That's not even like a one question time. That's a whole month of talk.